Hey everyone, my name is Carlos Balmaceda and welcome to my YouTube channel, SQL Portfolio, where I want to help you become a skilled data analyst and create an impressive portfolio. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you're pursuing a career as a data analyst and you need help creating a portfolio. Maybe you recently got the Google Data Analytics certificate and now you need help with the capstone project so that you can showcase your skills to prospective employers. Or you've heard how it's one of the fastest growing job sectors and you want to know more. Throughout this video, I'll walk you through the entire data analysis process from asking the right questions to preparing and analyzing the data, and finally, presenting the findings. If you want to take your data analytics skills to the next level and create an impressive portfolio, subscribe to my channel and join our community of data analysts. Let's dive in and explore the fascinating world of data analytics. In this video, I will show you how to complete the bike share case study number 1 from Coursera. We're going to follow the data analysis process based on the insights gained from the analysis. The end result will be a portfolio-ready case study that demonstrates the analyst's skills and knowledge to potential employers. The first thing that I want to include in my case study report is a case study summary. If you look at the Google Data Analytics certificate from Coursera, they have a video that talks about this in detail. The purpose is to provide a comprehensive overview of the case study, enabling the audience to grasp key aspects before diving into the specific. It basically establishes a framework and prepares viewers for the upcoming detailed explanation. Here we will include the title, industry focus, problem statement, which defines the challenge being addressed, the business use case, which explains how the challenge will be solved, the goals metric, which defines specific outcomes to be achieved, the deliverables, which will communicate key findings, insights, and recommendations to the stakeholders. We also have the dataset list, which provides transparency regarding the data sources used for analysis and programs used to scrape the data. So in my case, I used BigQuery and Looker Studio to visualize the data. The second thing I'm going to include in my report is the scenario, which provides context. In this hypothetical scenario, as a junior data analyst at Cyclistic, you are tasked with analyzing bike usage data to understand the differences between casual riders and annual members. With the goal of increasing annual memberships, your aim is to develop a data-driven marketing strategy. To gain approval from the executive team, your recommendation must be supported by compelling data insights and professional data visualizations that demonstrate the potential impact of your proposed strategy. Now that I have the case study summary and the scenario that we will be analyzing, the third thing I'm going to include is a comprehensive overview of the 6 key stages of the data analysis process. This include ask, prepare, process, analyze, share, and act. I will present my systematic approach behind each stage. So let's get started with the first one, ask. This is a crucial step where we define the key questions that guide our analysis process. The 3 that I chose were: what marketing strategies can Cyclistic use to attract casual riders? Number 2, how can Cyclistic promote annual memberships effectively? And number 3, how can Cyclistic personalize marketing messages to different rider segments? We will also include the deliverables, which are the key output of the analysis. The deliverables for this section consist of a clear business task statement, data source description, documentation of the data cleaning and manipulation, a summary of the analysis, supporting visualizations and key findings, and 3 top recommendations based on the analysis findings. The second stage of the data analysis process is the prepare stage. This stage involves making sure that the data is in the best possible shape for exploration. We start by assessing the quality of the data. Next, we perform data cleaning tasks to address any mistakes or missing values. This step helps ensure the accuracy and reliability of the data. First, I'm going to go to the link with all the data, and I will select the data spanning from January to December 2022 for the analysis. I'm going to save the files to my computer in CSV format. Now, because BigQuery has restrictions on the size of files that you can directly upload, you have to use the Google Cloud Storage, which allows you to save the files to the cloud. Otherwise, you won't be able to analyze over 5 million rows of data. From the cloud, you will then upload the data to BigQuery. This way, you can work with large files without running into size limits. If you are using Microsoft SQL, then Azure is Microsoft version of Google Cloud System. Now, I can go to BigQuery and create the data set. Then, inside my data set, I am going to create a table for each month in the year 2022. If you click on one of the tables, you will be able to see the schema, details, and preview the data. For the purpose of using a syntax that you're probably familiar with, I made a separate table for each month, and then I used the union operator to combine all the tables. However, if you are more advanced, you can use a table wildcard function. That way you can dynamically reference and query multiple tables without listing each table in your query. This simplifies the query syntax. Now I'm going to create one table with all the data by going to Save Results and clicking on BigQuery Table. Now we have the table with all the data we will be analyzing. Next, I explored the schema, details, and preview section in BigQuery. For example, if you look at the schema and look at the start and end time, it makes sense that the schema is a timestamp and not a string or float. I'm also going to look at the details to get an idea how big my data is. So this table has over 5 million rows and has over 800 megabytes. If I look at the preview, right away I can tell that there are some data missing. This is all part of the data exploration process. In this section, I explain how I use the distinct function to examine all the unique values present in each column. This approach ensures that the values within each column make logical sense. For instance, when exploring different types of bikes, it wouldn't be appropriate to encounter values like car or apple. Instead, by inspecting the distinct values for the bikes, we discover categories such as electric bike, classic bike, and dog bike, which align with our expectations and provide meaningful insight. Next, I employed the group by function, which allowed me to group rows together based on all the column. This grouping helped me verify the presence of any duplicate values within the dataset. By using the group by function, I was able to efficiently identify the absence of duplicates, ensuring accuracy of the data. Here, I utilized the isNotNull function to assess any missing values and decide whether to keep or remove them. For columns containing the string value null, I use the case statement, which returns a value once a condition is true. I also use the SafeCast function, which converts data from one type to another. But after the analysis, I realized I would have lost too much data had I removed all the null values and strings. Therefore, I preserved all the null values and null strings in order to minimize unnecessary data loss in the analysis. One thing I want to touch on is the difference between null values and null strings. Null values represent the absence of any data in a field or column. They indicate that no value is assigned. On the other hand, null strings specifically refer to the string representation of the word null. So just because you removed all the null values doesn't mean that you removed all the null strings. Here, I explain how I structure my analysis using the 6 key stages of the analysis process, which is ask, prepare, process, analyze, share, and act. This ensures that all the essential aspects of the analysis are covered, promoting organization. By following this structure framework, it leads to more impactful insights. Lastly, I show the tools used to analyze the data. This enhances the credibility of the analysis by showcasing the utilization of industry standard tools. The next stage of the data analysis is the process stage. It helps us clean, organize, and transform the data so that it's accurate and consistent. In order to accomplish this, I use different functions, which I will explain, and then I will show you the syntax that I used. I'm going to start by explaining the data cleaning. First, I explain how I used the as function to make the columns more descriptive. Second, I explain how I used the date and time function. I separated the time components from the combined columns, allowing for calculations and analysis of bike ride durations while maintaining consistent formatting in the database. I then used the round function to make the longitude and latitude 2 decimal places. Here, I explain how I used the trim function. Imagine you want to extract all the customers named John Smith from a dataset. However, if any of the names had a leading or trailing space, it would lead to a mismatch. This is where the trim function comes in. By utilizing the trim function, you can eliminate any unnecessary spaces and ensure precise matching, allowing you to retrieve the accurate list of customers with the name John Smith. Here, I use the lower function. This is another example that helps eliminate mismatches. Imagine you wanted to extract all the customers named John Smith from a dataset. If some names are in capital letters, others in small caps, or a mix of both, it wouldn't allow us to retrieve all the names of John Smith. By converting all the names to a consistent format using the lower function, we ensure that the comparison is case insensitive and eliminate potential mistakes, allowing us to accurately pull all customers with the desired name. Here, I explain how I transform the data. First, I explain how I use the union function to combine different tables. Next, I use the timestamp difference function to create a new column that calculates the duration of each ride. By subtracting the start timestamp from the end timestamp, I was able to create a new column that gives me the time difference, which represents the ride duration. Here, I used the Haversine formula to calculate the distance traveled using the latitude and longitude coordinates. Lastly, I explained how I wanted to explore statistical analysis by utilizing the mode function. The mode function helps identify the most frequently occurring value in a dataset. However, after testing it, I decided not to use it as the numbers didn't appear to be accurate. Now that I have completed the ask, prepare, and process stages, I will save the clean dataset as a separate table. To recap the functions used, we employed the trim function to remove the leading or trailing spaces, the lower function to maintain consistent formatting and avoid errors, the as function to provide a descriptive column names, extracted time and date from a combined column for ride duration calculations, utilized the timestamp difference function to measure time differences, rounded latitude and longitude to 2 decimal places with the round function, and applied the Haversine formula to calculate travel distance. In addition, I made use of the case and cast function to explore null values, although they are not part of this specific syntax. Following the process stage is the analyze. It uncovers meaningful insights and patterns within the data, helping in the decision-making process. It enables organizations to validate hypotheses, make data-driven decisions, and identify opportunities for improvement. Since the share stage typically involves presenting the analysis findings in person to stakeholders, I'm just going to include it with the analyze stage. In this section, I analyze 6 different scenarios. For each scenario, I provided a comprehensive explanation of the data being analyzed, followed by a visual chart illustrating the analysis results. In addition, I showcased the SQL code utilized to process the data, along with the output generated. This approach ensures transparency. In this video, I will focus on one specific scenario, but feel free to pause the video and explore the other scenarios provided. So let's go over the one with the top 10 connections. I'm going to enter the syntax in SQL, which will then give me the output. The next step is to create a chart. I'm not going to spend too much time going over Looker Studio, but I'll show you how I created my chart. If you use Microsoft, then Google's Looker Studio is the version of Power BI. I'm going to go to Looker Studio by clicking on Explore Data and then on Explore with Looker Studio. Then click on Add a Chart, find the heat map, then drag the coordinates to field and the connection count to weight. The field and weight define the variables used to visualize the data. The field section represents the heat map's x-axis or y-axis. The weight section allows you to assign a numerical value to each data point, influencing the intensity representation of the heat map. Then, if you click on the pencil icon for the coordinates, we need to change the data from text to geo, latitude, longitude. Now you can see the heat map. You can also click on the Style tab if you want to personalize the map. The last part of the data analysis process is the act stage. This is where we put the findings from the analysis into action. Here, I listed 3 actionable recommendations based on the analysis supported by data-driven insights. The 3 recommendations are to strategically target marketing efforts during peak hours and weekends to attract more casual riders who have longer ride durations. The second is to showcase the convenience and cost effectiveness of annual memberships, highlighting features like unlimited rides, reduced rates, and priority bike availability. And the third is to personalize marketing messages based on bike preferences, emphasizing the environmental benefits of electric bikes and the versatility of duct bikes for longer rides. Once you complete the analysis, you can use Google Sites to showcase the case study. To summarize everything that we went over, for the Google Data Analytics Capstone project, I started with a case study summary to provide an overview of the key aspects. Then I presented the specific scenario that was analyzed, followed by a detailed breakdown of each stage of the data analysis process, which are ask, prepare, process, analyze, share, and act. If you found this video informative and helpful, I would appreciate your support with a thumbs up and stay tuned for more videos. I want to end this by saying that data analysis is an exciting field that empowers us to unlock valuable insights from vast amounts of information. It allows us to make data-driven decisions, solve complex problems, and uncover hidden patterns that can drive innovation and growth. With the increasing importance of data in today's world, a career in data analysis opens doors that enables us to shape the future with the power of information. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.